we segue gears from everything we've just been talking about. Yep. What do you think about the Longhorns this year?
I'll bring up the stats like I'd always do, right? Last year, 8-5, 6-3 in conference. Ended up cracking the top 25 in the AP poll, or the AP poll. Jesus. 34.5 points a game. Not bad numbers, right? I think I finished top 25 last year in points per game. They gave up 21.6 points per game. That finished in the top 30. You would think that record would probably be a little bit better than 8-5 overall. They had the number one strength of schedule last year. A lot of that had to do with the Bama game, playing that non-con game. They played again this year, by the way, guys. That game is going to be super hyped up. I'll give my thoughts on that later in the season. Lost the Alamo Bowl to Washington. Daniel, if he's on, which I don't think he is tonight, sucks because he'd be toasting up a beer like you just did there, Christian.
Yeah, right.
He's a big Washington boy. But Texas is a very interesting team, guys. We talked about it a little bit a couple pods ago about Texas, the potential this year, the hype. They're favored by far in Vegas to win the Big 12 this year. We say it a lot on this show. You could throw a dart at a dartboard as far as the Big 12 goes. Nobody ever predicted TCU winning it last year. We thought they were going to be good. We didn't think they were going to be great. They ended up being great. Didn't even win the Big 12, though, Christian. K-State did. And they still found themselves against Michigan and whooped their ass in the playoffs. So, and then got a, I don't even know what you want to call the national title game, pretty much I could say a couple other words here, but pretty much skull drug across the field with Georgia last year. But Christian, dig a little deeper here. I know you're going to do what you do. Give me the stats. Give me the deep stats here. Why Texas may be the team this year.
All right, Chris. Listen, I know a lot of people on this show, they're probably not very fond of Texas. But I'm going to say this. They're coming off an 8-5 season last year. Steve Sarkisian, it was his second year. Good news is they're getting a healthy Quinn Ewers back. Now, he was banged up at certain points of last year.
Boy.
He had games where he really flashed, what he can do, and I thought he looked pretty good. Chris, they returned 9 starters on offense, including all 5 starting offensive linemen.
Super impressive.
From last year.
Yep.
The biggest loss on offense is definitely Bijan Robinson, man. He's out there.
Falcons.
He plays for the Falcons, son. Probably going to take either him or maybe, I don't know, man. I might end up taking Dorian Thompson-Robinson number 1 overall this year. I don't know what we're going to do in fantasy.
Okay.
But that's okay, dude. Steve,
like that.
Hey, man, I've got to, man. I might take a kicker, number 1 overall. You don't know. I'm a wild card.
Like You're that type of guy, though.
Chris, listen. Steve Sarkisian, they've kind of touched on this. They're going to look to really dial it up this year. They're probably not going to run the ball as much as they have in years past. From what I could see, they're going to try to probably platoon this out. They've got some talent there at the running back position, and they're going to try to replicate that production that Bijan left behind. Chris, we put a poll up, about who had one of the best wide receiver rooms in America. And Texas was on there. I think they ended up finishing, second or third, obviously, but they have one of the best wide receiver rooms in all of America. All right, they're going to bring back their top 2 receivers from last year, Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington. They also bring in UGA transfer A.D. Mitchell. Dude is fast. He made some plays. He's caught some touchdowns, and he can do it again at this level, I'm pretty sure. They also bring in true freshman 5-star Jonte Cooks, who was one of the best receivers in his class. They've got, I think, a very talented trio of true freshman wide receivers they brought in that class. And dude, it's they're going to tear some people up this year in the passing game, right? Chris, the biggest question mark is on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And can Texas get better than they were last year on defense? What do you think, bud?
You talked about the studs. You talked about the guys returning. I already had that wrote down, but I think, it's the defense. But can Steve Sarkisian in his 3rd year, Christian, get this done? He's 13-12 overall as a head coach of Texas. There's a lot of pressure this year, I think, because Vegas obviously made them favorites by a landslide. By the way, if nobody's looked, I don't know if anybody bets. I do. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road. And we all talk about this Alabama game super early. which is crazy, guys. I'm waiting. I'm not going to talk about in this podcast what my prediction is over that game. But the defense also, Christian, though, last year led the nation in quarterback pressures. They have talent. They got people that can do some things there. But if their defense can become, I don't even say great. They don't have to be great. They have to be good. Bend don't break, right? We talk about that a lot. We talk about the Huskers a lot. We talk about Georgia, in an Ohio State game, held them a shit ton of field goals. Like it's one of those things where if Texas in those big games, we know the offense is going to be great. We know Quinn Ewers, he reclassed. This guy's, I think it was the best rated quarterback or second best quarterback a couple years ago. Reclassed. This guy's a stud. We all know he's great. His backup's I honestly think his backup is probably the best backup in the country. And then, Christian, don't they have that other kid, that Manning kid? You know his name.
Come on, son.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're not working at Tops here. I'm not buying the kids' cards just yet.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, right. That was a joke, but you took it relatively well. No, I mean we all know that Texas offense can be great. They return one of the best wide receiver rooms. We know this. Bijan Robinson's gone, who I love a lot. Plays for your Falcons now. It's unfortunate for him. He'll never be shit there. But long story short, guys, they're going to be great on offense. Defense is the biggest question mark. I think Steve Sarkisian in big games, though, he's got to get shit together. So the play calling at times, I watch Texas a lot. Just because I'm over here in Nebraska, we get a lot of Texas games for some odd reason. They got to get together on the defensive side of the ball. He's got to be better in crucial situations as far as play calling goes. I think I like Sark. I like him a lot. I think he's a good coach. This is the year, though, because they are just so hyped up. You look at any goddamn top 25 lineup right now on any website. Everybody has them 10-2, 11-1, competing for the Big 12 title, Christian. You know this.
Oh, yeah.
You bet, too. You know this. Vegas has them favored in 11 games. I mean, the only one they're not favored is the Bama game, and it's like a half a point right now. So, if Vegas is usually not wrong when it comes to shit like this, they're pretty close. That's why they keep building more casinos. It's very interesting to me what Texas does this year. I think Texas is going to have a great year. I think I have them sitting. Shit, I took their helmet down here so you guys can all see them. But I think I have them like 6th right now in my preseason or 7th. They're going to be great this year. Oklahoma is the only team. Crypto, this ought to make you happy, buddy, if you're still in. This ought to make you happy, man. Oklahoma is the one team to me, other than Texas Tech, that can compete for this Big 12 title this year. Those two teams, to me, have a chance to do something crazy. I think Oklahoma actually should be better than Tech, but this comes down to the end of the year, and we don't know much right now. I'm going off the top of my head here as far as Texas returning starters, all this stuff. Texas is going to be hyped on, man. We've talked about them a lot. Christian, go ahead. I know you want to talk, buddy. What do you got, man?
Dude, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Big 12 every year comes down to, number one, who can play the most consistent, and number two, who can actually play somewhat defense, right?
Yeah. Big 12 Big 12 in a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. If you can play, if you can probably place inside of the top 30 or 40 in defense, you got a good shot at winning the Big 12. Chris, here's the thing, and we talk about this on defense, right? They're going to bring back 6 starters, all right, on the defense, and you touched on it, right, that led the nation last year in quarterback pressures. They bring back just about all that defensive line, which is amazing, dude. That's going to go a long way. All right. They also have, to me, they've got one of the best linebackers in the country. Jalen Ford, he had 119 tackles last year and 4 interceptions. That's ridiculous, dude. They also get back nickelback Jade Baron, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, who had 11 and a half tackles for loss last year and 2 interceptions. They're also going to get back their safety, Jaren Thompson, who had 82 tackles, 7 pass deflections, and 1 interception, as well as a starting cornerback, Ryan Watts, who looked decent last year. Chris, the biggest thing to me is how is those other 2 backers going to step up and the other safety spot and the other corner? Now, if they can continue being dominant, up front on the front 7, I'm not worried about the back half and the secondary. Right. I'm not worried about that, right? I think overall the front 7 will be good enough to keep the pressure off of that secondary, and I think it's going to be a much more stingy defense this year, right? Like I said, dude, I think that's going to be a very positive thing for them going forward.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. Like I said, I think the Big 12, I think somebody dropped in the chat. I just caught part of it. There's so much shit going on, but if they're the Big 12 isn't known for their defenses, obviously we're talking 20 years now, they're not. But the reality is, if Texas is not a bad team. I mean, when you look at them as far as on paper, and I know that's all we really have to go off of right now as far as this season goes, Christian, but like their offense is going to put up points. I'm not worried about them. They're gonna put up more than 34 points a game what they did last year. I know that. The problem is, like you said, on the defensive side of the ball, if you can hold teams to 25 or less, especially the Big 12, they compete for the Big 12 title this year. They win it, they're going to have a chance at that playoff spot. Maybe they get lucky. We thought that about Ohio State last year, right? I mean, they almost knocked off your Georgia guys. We know that, but it's TCU did some crazy shit. That was probably one of the biggest, probably the playoff era. It was probably the biggest Big 12's biggest win ever. I mean, it really was. I mean, Michigan was big time favorite in that game. I lost some money. I just think that like overall, Texas has got a chance this year. We all get enamored with Quinn Ewers, and I think he's a great quarterback. I do. I'm not worried about Steve Sarkisian actually as a head coach, but it's the play calling in crucial times. They're going to have some crucial games this year. They got Tech, they got Bama, they got Baylor, some of these other teams that just, like I think they even got K-State, everybody's really high in K-State this year. It's crazy to me. Who won the Big 12 last year. Like a lot of people don't even know that. Everybody forgets about, K-State last year because TCU ended up winning the game in the playoffs. So you guys never know, man. It's going to be crazy this year. Oklahoma is, again, another team. I'm really high with them with crypto. I love OU this year. So, like, the Big 12 is a very big crapshoot. Texas should be. This is one of these years where you kind of know, like, Texas should be really, really good. We've been saying that for years. If it doesn't get done this year, I think Steve Sarkisian finds himself on a hot seat pretty quickly if they're not winning this thing. I honestly think that. I know that maybe be a hot take for a future segment, but he's got to get it done, especially with the talented returning offensive side of the ball.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm assuming, and I'll say this real quick, too, before we jump over, but, as far as who had 12,243 yards rushing, assuming that's a Mr. Marcus Allen. That's probably a callback to the last one. I'm just guessing. Right?
Yeah.
Just guessing here. All right, hopefully I'm right. All right, Chris. You ready to get into their record prediction here and piss some people off?
Yeah, I'm on it. 11-1. I'm leaving it at that. My only loss with Texas this year, and it's not Alabama. Holy shit, Christian. It's not. I think Texas beats Bama at Bama this year. That sounds fucking insane. I can't wait to see all that when this thing gets posted to YouTube. But the Bama man is going to tell me what a degenerate I am and don't know anything. I think they lose one of these games either to Oklahoma. I think K-State is obviously a potential threat. Iowa State, people sleep on them. I know they got a bunch of problems right now going on internally with that program. And then Texas Tech at Tech. That is always a tough game between those two schools. I think they lose one of those. I'm making it super simple, super sweet for you, Christian. Tell me why the hell I'm wrong.
Man, I'm going to piss off everybody probably with this, Chris.
Oh, boy.
12-0. 12-0.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't listen, dude. I mean, here's the thing. I got them beating Bama.
Oh, holy shit.
Right? So you look at that. Okay, they should beat Rice. They're gonna, they should beat, or I think they're gonna beat Bama, Wyoming, Baylor, Kansas. I mean, we're kind of just going down this schedule, and I know I'm just talking about it. Like you said, dude, they're favored to win all these games. If the defense improves, and if Quinn Ewers stays healthy, hell, even if he doesn't stay healthy, right? And they have to turn to Malik Murphy. Dude, Malik Murphy is a very capable number 2.
That guy's a stud.
Right?
Yeah.
I was honestly scared that Malik Murphy was going to – I was scared that he was going to jump ship and transfer to Florida. Because that would scare me if he went to Florida.
Yeah, I know.
But he didn't. He's still at Texas. Right. And I think legitimately, dude, again, either one you want to put in that lineup there, Texas has the firepower. Steve Sarkisian, again, against better judgment. I know if Daniel was here, he would tell me, the statistics about Steve Sarkisian and his records.
He knows his shit. Yeah.
I've done some research on him a year or two ago, and I can tell you right now, I know, I don't think he's ever gone 12-0. He's had some good teams. Even had
like a 10-win season, honestly. But
if he's gonna do it, this is the year to do it. I think you got to capitalize on it. I think the schedule is somewhat favorable for him. I'm going to buy the Kool-Aid and say they go 12-0.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, you got bigger balls than I do. I mean, Texas, I just have to go with 11-1 or 10-2. I will say 10-2 in there. If they do lose to Bama, I think they lose one of those other games. Obviously, Christian, I like your stance. If they go 12-0, they're in the playoff, though. I mean, they are. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's rare for anybody to run the table. We don't see it often, other than maybe Georgia right now. Jesus, man, LSU has a chance if they knock off Florida State. Florida State's another team that you could throw in there who I'm super high on. God damn, man, that's a bold take, but I love it, man. That's a bold take. I like that people are going to say it. I know you, Christian. You put your money where your mouth is. So they get her done, man. They get her done. Like it's going to be interesting this year.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, if this was the other way around, if we were talking about, hey, they're going to the SEC, right? They're in the. This is next year. They're in the SEC, but everything else stays the same. Yeah, I wouldn't be as confident